We're going to go over how to do the work for making your own trophic pyramid. So what you're going to be asked to do is you're going to be asked to make your own trophic pyramid. Remember, the trophic pyramid is the one that looks like this, where we have the producers on the bottom, and then the rabbits, the snakes, and the hawks. And if you notice, these boxes are getting smaller because most of the energy is leaving because of cellular respiration and metabolism. So every time we step up, only 10% of that energy gets passed on. So it's something important to remember when you're making your own trophic pyramid. So what it says is below is the correct version of your trophic pyramid that your food chain that you'll use for the trophic pyramid. So at the bottom, this is the food chain that you made before, where the barrel cactus is the producer, the grasshopper was the primary consumer, the lizard was the secondary consumer, and the hawk was the tertiary consumer. However, on mine, I'm going to use a slightly different food pyramid just so that you have a different example to go off of. So mine's based on the jungle, where there's the piper plant as the producer. Its energy gets passed on to the grasshopper, the primary consumer. Tropical grasshoppers are eaten by these cute little monkeys called marmosets. That's the secondary consumer. And unfortunately, the marmoset's energy is going to be passed on to the grasshopper, which is the tertiary consumer. On the next page is where I'm going to be making my trophic pyramid. So when I go back up here, my producer is the piper plant, and it is my primary energy source. And so right here at the bottom, I've actually already gone through and renamed this. So where it said name of trophic level, I put producer. The organism's name was the piper plant. The amount of biomass was 10,000 kilograms. And the percent of energy, we're going to start off with 100% of the energy. Now, remember, there has to be a lot of this baseline energy to support the ecosystem. So I'm going to make this box a little bit bigger than it even is at the beginning. Now, the next level up from the producer, we're going to go to the primary consumers. And if you want, you can type in this box, but you can also type over here where these green boxes are. The organism name, so up here I have my tropical grasshopper. So right here I'm going to put my grasshopper. The amount of biomass, so I had 10,000 kilograms here, only 10% gets passed on. So here I'm going to put that it's 1,000 kilograms. The amount of energy at the producer level was 100%. The percent goes down by 10%, so my amount of energy is going to be just 10%. Now this box should also be a tenth the size of the one above it. So to make it a tenth the size, I'm actually going to make this box quite a bit smaller, and this box is going to get even bigger. The next level up, for the name of the trophic level, after primary consumers, it gets passed on to secondary consumers. The organism name in my tropical ecosystem is going to be these cute little marmosets. So I'm going to put marmoset here. The amount of biomass, remember I started with 10,000 kilograms in the producers. I'm moving to 1,000 kilograms in the grasshoppers. I'm dividing by 10 again, so I'm going to get 100 kilograms in the marmosets. The amount of energy went from 100% down to 10%, divide by 10 again, 10 divided by 10 equals 1%. So here I'm going to put 1% for my energy. And this box should be again a tenth the size. So I'm going to make this one a tenth the size of the one before. If you can't really fit this, you could actually take your text box and you could move it so that where it says secondary consumers is just outside of the box so that I can make this box really small. Again, I want it to be a tenth as big to show that there really isn't as much biomass and there isn't as much energy at the secondary consumer level as there is at the primary consumer level. The next top one after secondary consumers, I have tertiary consumers. And what I'm going to do for this is I'm also going to take this text box and I'm going to paste it outside of the big box so that I can make this box for tertiary consumers really tiny, because there's not going to be much energy left at this tertiary consumer stage when I'm all done. I could even take all of these and move them up so that the producers can really show that there have to be a lot of producers to support my primary consumers. There have to be quite a few primary consumers to support the secondary consumers, and those secondary consumers are only going to support a really small amount of tertiary consumers. So then my last one I need to fill in is my organism name. For tertiary consumer is the jaguar. The amount of biomass, it keeps getting smaller, so I went from 100 kilograms divided by 10. So that's going to give me 10 kilograms in the amount of biomass. And then for percent of energy, I had 1%, but I'm going to divide that by 10. So at the top, I'm going to get that I only have 0.1% of my energy left. So this is what your trophic pyramid will look like when you're done. The main difference is that instead of having the piper plant, the grasshopper, the marmoset, and the jaguar, you're going to be using the desert ecosystem. So the barrel cactus, the grasshopper, the lizard, and the hawk for your own ecosystem pyramid. When you're done, there's 4 questions, so make sure to go to these slides and answer these. You can just type in these green text boxes. The first question is, describe how a trophic pyramid models energy in an ecosystem. What does the size of the box represent, and how does the size of the boxes change as you go up? So just remember, these boxes here representing the amount of energy or the amount of biomass in the ecosystem, and making the boxes smaller and smaller is showing that the amount of energy or the amount of biomass is decreasing as you go up these trophic levels. Second question is energy loss. How does energy leave the ecosystem? How much energy is lost at each trophic level? And how does the loss of energy affect trophic levels? Remember how we talked about how the energy leaves the ecosystem because of all of this wasted energy as heat that's going out each level. 90% of it, of the energy, is lost as heat or metabolism waste at each level. Your third question is, why is biomass a better used to measure energy at each trophic level? Remember how we talked about how you can't count all the billions of blades of grass, so it's not helpful to say, oh, there's 1,000,000 blades of grass in one hawk. It's really better to measure the dry weight or the mass in kilograms at each level of each organism, or to measure the amount of energy in calories. And then lastly, according to your pyramid, why does the desert ecosystem have more lizards than hawks? So think about what's happening to the amount of energy as you go up those levels, and how would that change how many lizards you could support or how many hawks you could support in an ecosystem. Good luck. You got it. Again, let me know if you have any questions.